Hey everybody, welcome back to a Denton County weather forecast, and today what we're looking at is the potential for severe weather tonight in the DFW Metroplex, and really just about all of North Texas is included in a marginal or slight risk for severe weather, and that does include the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, hail up to the size of golf balls, and I can't even rule out hail up to the size of hen eggs, and as well as a chance for a tornado or two. And yes, there is a tornado threat as well tonight, so I'll have to monitor this all very closely. Storms are going to develop really about after sunset, and we're going to probably see a few that could very well be severe. So there's a lot to watch tonight. I'm going to break down everything you need to know in this forecast, including where the best chance is for that tornado threat, also the timing, the full timing guide, where to expect storms and when, as well as what to expect in terms of, where damaging winds and hail will be the most prominent across North Texas. So here's a look at the forecast as of right now. So the Storm Prediction Center has issued now a slight risk that does include all of DFW, and does include most of northern North Texas as well. So Sherman, Wichita Falls, Denton, Weatherford, Dallas, Sulphur Springs, and Paris, all included in that slight risk for severe weather. This does include Tarrant County, Collin County, that sort of thing. So those are the areas that are included in the slight risk. There's also a marginal risk, which I'm not as concerned about. I think there's a much lesser chance of any severe weather in the marginal risk area, which would include Claiborne, Corsicana, all the way out closer to Cisco as well. So these areas are included, as well as Tyler, Texas, which I think Tyler, Texas has a good shot at least of seeing some rain and maybe a storm or two there. So that's what we're looking at for the overall risk. Now, where's that best chance for large hail? Well, we do actually have an area now that is shaded in a darker brown here in the center of this yellow shading, which is now a 15% chance within a 25-mile radius of seeing large hail. Now, this area here is the best chance for hail of 2 inches in diameter or greater, which has a 10% chance within about a 25-mile radius. So this would include Denton, and the best chance for large hail will likely exist if you're North Texas, would exist anywhere from about Bowie all the way over to Denton as well as Sherman. That's kind of your best area to see the potential for some large hail. Again, probably the best threat will be quarter-sized hail, but golf ball-sized hail and maybe hen egg-sized hail will be possible once these storms first fire up. So that'll be something to keep in mind. The damaging wind threat overall would include anywhere just east of there, and it includes really from Bowie all the way back out to Paris. So this is where that damaging wind threat exists, and it goes all the way up into Oklahoma City. And this area, by the way, does go all the way up into Iowa. This is a very large area for being such a low-end risk for, obviously being a severe weather event here. All right, the tornado threat. This is probably the one you're most concerned about. Obviously, we see tornadoes occasionally. We usually don't see any in November, so it's pretty uncommon that we see them in November, but this would be something to keep in mind. There is a 5% chance within a 25-mile radius, which is it's a low-end risk. It's not, it's not on the high end by any means, but it's a low-end risk in this brown-shaded region. So this would include anywhere from Dallas off to the north, so Dallas to Oklahoma City. That's basically the range of where a tornado or two could be possible. I would anticipate a tornado to exist somewhere in this circled area. Now, that could literally be anywhere. I mean, we could be talking about somewhere in the middle of nowhere, or we could be talking about somewhere closer to DFW. It's just such a large range. I think the best shot, though, to be honest with you, my personal experience with tracking these sort of storms, usually they happen where I really think the best chance will be somewhere along the Red River. That's typically where they are occurring in this sort of setup. So if there is to be a tornado, it's going to be weak, it's going to be brief, and it would likely happen somewhere closer to the Red River. So just something to keep in mind. I would not be so concerned about it. Just make sure you have a plan in place. Obviously, there could be a tornado, so just make sure you have some sort of plan in place for tonight just in case. All right, let's get to the timing and everything you need to know about that. So here is the wrong timing guide. One moment, please. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. Here's the timing for tonight. So we'll stay dry through 5 o'clock. Nothing for your rush hour commute. You should stay dry. After 5 o'clock, we'll start to see the potential for maybe a storm or two to start to develop in this this area here. So any from Wichita Falls back over to I-35. About 6, 7 o'clock, those storms start to fire up, and you can see by Wichita Falls, there's storm firing up there. 8 o'clock, these storms start to become much stronger, more severe. That potential for damaging winds, hail, and an isolated tornado exists right between about 8 to 10 o'clock, I think, is the best chance for those threats. It would mainly be along the Red River. Now, this computer model does not necessarily show anything closer to Dallas or Tarrant County. I would not rule it out, though, that we see something closer. And the last few scans have shown that we've seen storms closer to those areas, but we'll definitely see some sort of storm activity within the areas of Cook County, Grayson, Denton, as well as Collin County. I think somebody will see a storm in there, but we'll definitely see some sort of severe aspect to those storms as well, most likely as those move through. 12 o'clock, these storms eventually move off to the east. It kind of forms into a line of storms, and that would move off to the east eventually, and after 1 o'clock will definitely be cleared out. So that severe weather threat does start to taper off and will eventually dry out for your Thursday. Now, I would want do want to mention, though, that there is that chance for a tornado. I said that there would be a chance primarily in this area here. That's going to be your best shot for any sort of tornadic threat, would be right along the Red River. All right, here's the temperatures for this afternoon. Temperatures will warm up into the mid-70s for most of us. Will eventually drop off by tomorrow morning into the mid-50s for most of us, maybe even some upper 40s back off to the northwest. And then eventually, looking at the dew points, you can see it's actually going to be a couple degrees more humid than what it was initially forecasted to be. It's going to be in the low 60s for most of us for the dew points, so that does help the severe weather a little bit, not dramatically, just enough that could help initiate maybe a slightly higher amount of severe weather, not by any dramatic means, though. All right, tornado parameter, where's that best chance for a tornado? I've mentioned it several times, but it would probably be right in here, right around the Red River there, would be the best shot for maybe a tornado or two. That would be kind of the primarily risked area. All right, looking at the instability as well, you can see the instability values are actually a little bit higher than what they were initially as well. You can see values are actually going to be a little bit closer to 1,000 now, which is something to keep in mind. Obviously, again, severe weather doesn't always come off of instability, but there definitely will be frequent lightning in some of these storms that do form tonight. And again, not everybody's going to see storms tonight. There actually will be a cap, and let me go back to this radar real quick. There will actually be a cap kind of formed right about here. So kind of anywhere from Dallas and southward, there will most likely be a cap. Again, Dallas probably will see, or not probably, but they might see a storm. But anywhere south of there, I just don't see a whole lot of severe weather, or any weather in general really happening there besides mostly clear skies. Just due to the fact there will be a fairly strong cap anywhere south of I-20. So just keep that in mind tonight. If you're in Waco or Keelan or anywhere like that, you'll probably be fine tonight. Just make sure you have just make sure you're aware, but I think that you guys should be fine down there. If you have any questions, let us know on Denton County Weather for the latest. We will keep you updated on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on YouTube with the latest tonight. We will be updating. If I have to go live, I will be able to go live, so just keep that in mind. If you have any plans tonight, make sure you, if any outdoor plans, just make sure you're cautious about the weather tonight. And this forecast is brought to you by All Dents Repair.